scene of a debate between community activists and police over the tactics used in a recent police raid. KRON 4's Hazik Madyoun has tonight's top story at 5:30.
And you've justified now wholesale kicking down doors, coming in with tanks.
If you're holding any community hostage, the Oakland Police Department are going to fight for those who can't fight for themselves.
One police raid, two very different points of view. Community activists are now speaking out about their concerns regarding an Oakland police operation in this community, where over 50 alleged gang members were arrested. A press conference was held here on the corner of 8th and Adeline.
But I stand before you as the individual who ran Operation NutCracker.
OPD was there and tried to explain what happened from their perspective.
Police officers who put their lives in danger going to arrest some of the most notorious individuals. I've been here 17 years, and I will go on record and say this is the most notorious group of individuals that I've seen in my police career.
But community leaders say they hear otherwise.
Residents here, according to what we were told, were frightened to death, not by the young men, but by law enforcement.
Another issue for protesters are these words spoken by the Attorney General at a press conference following the raid.
These individuals, as you see listed here and shown, they're a type of urban terrorist.
To tie young black males to what's going on in Al-Qaeda in the Middle East is to set young black males up to be treated as enemy combatants. And this, the black community and all those of goodwill must fight.
These activists are concerned, calling those arrested urban terrorists will remove their civil rights.
You know, after looking at this, you kind of have mixed emotions because, you know, you might have some who like say, well, I'm glad the police came through. Then you got some who might say, well, damn, I mean, they're not terrorists. You know, a big old tank just came through my neighborhood. So there's, you know, kind of a mixed emotion that's going on here. And we hope that through our discussion tonight that we can educate one another and then have clarity. So with our panel here today, I just want some reactions.
Well, you know, I personally feel that it's the same thing that's been happening in Los Angeles year in and year out. You know, they have serious street gangs with initiations and, you know, neighborhoods and territories and whatnot. And they have many, many ways of handling these gangs, and that's certainly one of the ways they do it. They come down any given day, and they put what they call injunctions on the gang, and that means that you guys live on the same block or the same neighborhood, but if you seem like 3 or more of you guys together, then that's a crime. That could be like I don't know if it's a felony or whatever, but that's a crime to be seen with your known associated gang members. And then, you know, once they get to that point where they label you a gang, then, you know, they're kicking, all these other laws kick in, and you kind of, you know, you just rack on top of, you know, all the run-ins that you get with the law. You just, you know, just kind of, you know, criminalize a few cats that really aren't criminals, you know, just for being associated with the neighborhood. But I feel like on one end, there probably is a lot of wild stuff going on that needs to be under control, but that, you know, the way they report it in the news is always a little over extreme, so that you at home, you sit at home, you watch and you go, you know, these words that come out of your head, terrorists, you know, and you're thinking like, now when you see, I noticed that most of the people in the picture had dreads, you know? Right. So now when you see a little kid with dreads, you're like, he's a terrorist, you know? It's the subliminal, and it, you know, just like you said, this is just the beginning. If you see this 6 months from now, a year from now, you know, in a couple of years, you're gonna think dreads terrorists, you know, gang terrorists. It's just gonna be like a word association picture thing. You see it, you hear it, you know? So I just think it's all a part of the brainwashing that's been going on. And what I think that we get out of this, and you know, what you brothers are trying to tell us is that, you know, we got to wake up and really see that the game is being played on us. That's how I feel about it.
We are the only people that can really change what's going on. So unless we realize that and stop looking at the media and stop turning to the news for information when we already know what's happening in our surroundings, that's when things are going to change. Until then, things are going to continuously get worse and worse because people are going to feed into that imagery.
Yes, sir. Very well said. Now, there's 2 points that came up here. One, Brother Too Short mentioned in terms of LA and the tactics that are used. One of the things I think you said is that once you are labeled as in a gang or associate, first the labeling comes, right after that, new laws come. And so I just wanted to bring that out, what you said, because that's very, very important. Another thing the brother is saying is that that's true, but there's still some responsibility on our part.
But when I spoke with the resident community activist there, when she told me what her problems were with the young men, She told me that Acorn spent $30,000 fixing gates. Now, we went through the Acorn and there was not a single security gate that worked. We walked through every single security gate because all of them had some sort of damage that said you didn't have to punch in a code to get through. I understand that. That's a problem that needs to be addressed. But is that a problem that's addressed with 15 SWAT teams? Or is that a problem that is better addressed by actually helping the people who are causing the problem to see their lives a little better? As we were going through Acorn, we received an uninvited escort, a 10-year-old brother on a scooter. And as he rolled with us, we said, brother, if you're going to roll with us, you're going to have to pull up your pants. He pulled up his pants, got back on his scooter, and rolled some more. His pants came down. Brother Shaheem, yes, what did we say? You're going to roll with us, you got to pull up your pants. He pulled his pants back up, and he gave us the rest of the tour around the Acorn. And I'm saying that to say, you didn't need a SWAT team to get him to pull up his pants. You don't need a SWAT team to deal with broken locks on the fences. You don't need a SWAT team to deal with brothers playing dice by the mailbox. You don't need a SWAT team to deal with some weed being smoked around the corner. You need intervention of those who have love and concern for the people that live there. Our mother, I think, said it best in Hillside. She said, the police don't care about us. But I wonder if they did a survey, how many OPD officers live in Oakland, were raised in Oakland, and are here because they love Oakland. And I would venture to guess you wouldn't find too many live here. You wouldn't find too many that were raised here. There's some, but not many. And so the hope would be that we're able, through our organizing and mobilizing efforts, to change these areas ourselves.
First of all, I'm more interested, as a media person, I'm a media person myself. I produce television, radio, and all that kind of stuff. So I understand the power of the media, the power of suggestion, and all of those things. So it's very important for us to really we need to focus more on how we label ourselves. At that same time, these people look at you and they're going to label you in particular lights based on your behavior and what you're doing and all those kinds of things. And they know how to use that media machine to continue to perpetuate that and keep that going until you hopefully become that in their eyes. And then they can label you a terrorist and set up new laws. And once you become a terrorist, like you just asked, what does that mean? Well, has anybody heard of Guantanamo Bay? That's where they take terrorists. That's not even in the United States, and they strip you of your constitutional rights when they do that. So if they label you as a terrorist, then they can apply those same actions to you, take you away from your family, all those kinds of things they can do to you based on the labeling you as a terrorist. So we have to address that, but more importantly, we have to address how we look at ourselves, how we label ourselves, how we treat ourselves. Some of those folks, in fact, may have been terrorists, because I know a lot of people in our community are terrorized. We got killings. We're up to about 70 killings in this city. Now, if you add up all the cities in America, that's more than the people that have been killed in the war that we've been fighting for about 5 years or however long it's been. So there is terror going on in our community, and those people that are doing that are terrorists. Make no mistake about it. So we can't excuse their behavior, but at the same time, we have to look at ourselves and then take more action and be more responsible for how we deal and relate to one another. So, we have to be real and honest about that. And then at the same time, we have to use the media to our benefit. That means we got to produce things like that man with a camera. We got to write. We got to put these images and information out there and speak positively and uplifting about ourselves and to our children. That's what we got to do to counteract all of that.
Beautifully said, brother. Beautifully said. Beautifully said. Beautifully said.
It was over. Both sides agreed to continue this discussion at a later time.
Sure. See, the dialogue has to take place in order for us to have a better understanding. Right. Because what we saw, we don't understand.
It's just going to take good citizens in the department and in the community to get to the truth of this. Thank you.
Sure.
All right.
Y'all have a good day.
So what's that last name?
Holmgren, like the coach.
All right.
Y'all have a good one.
However, it is uncertain they will end up seeing eye to eye on what happened here.